Just as Australia's vaccine rollout gets going, a bump on the runway, with the EU withholding 250,000 AstraZeneca vials allocated for export.
It's only a few weeks away before 1 million doses a week will be rolling out. This 250,000 dose issue is not going to affect the rollout.
Melbourne-based CSL is gearing up to manufacture 1 million doses weekly by the end of the month, with the larger goal of producing more than 90% of the AstraZeneca vaccine for Australians.
It is, of course, the case that the EU manufactured component of the AstraZeneca vaccine was a relatively small portion of Australia's doses overall. And like the United Kingdom, Australia is setting up its own production facilities for vaccines in the future. So I think the real world impacts of this might not be that significant, but I think the diplomatic impacts of this and the political impacts could be rather more lasting.
There was always a worry that vaccine nationalism would rear its head, and this is one of the first instances we have seen it where a country has blocked exports.
Italy proposed the block on the Australian shipment, and the EU signed off. The doses are instead being injected into vials at a plant outside Rome.
Our top priority now is speeding up the production and delivery of vaccines and vaccinations across the European Union.
The move comes as AstraZeneca announced it could only deliver 40 million doses to the EU by the end of March, half of what it originally pledged. And an equivalent shortfall is expected for the second quarter of this year.
What's happened is Mario Draghi, the very formidable new Italian Prime Minister, who's of course been a mainstay of European politics for some time, he's come in and he's recognized that the vaccine rollout is going to be absolutely everything. It's the most single important thing that any government can do. And so they have activated that mechanism for the first time. And the rather unfortunate thing is that it is affecting Australia, which is of course one of the EU's principal allies.
Italy, one of the hardest hit European countries from the very beginning of the pandemic, is still struggling a year later.
Italy has a very sharply increasing number of cases in acute care, so the number of people in hospitalizations is going up.
Italy has vaccinated 4.8 million people of its 60 million population. Time is of the essence. The country reported more than 22,000 cases on Thursday, along with more than 300 deaths.
Part of it has to do that EU authorized the use of AstraZeneca vaccines much later.
Italy remains far behind countries like the US, UK, and Israel in getting their population vaccinated.
The European Union has been, well, many of its leaders, including French President Macron, have been casting aspersion over the AstraZeneca vaccine. There's certainly been some discussion about whether it was efficacious amongst older age groups. That debate has been watched with alarm and consternation in the United Kingdom because, of course, we have real life evidence now of just how effective it can be. The EU is backtracking now, but the effect of that is that there's a huge degree of vaccine hesitancy amongst the European population towards the AstraZeneca vaccine.
While Australia is shoring up its ability to provide for itself, this latest stoush has reignited fears of disruptions in the global supply chain of vaccines.
I think this is sending shockwaves amongst the EU's allies, and there are a lot of concerns about where this might go next.